A deal is a deal. We ended up getting the shareholder vote today, and Elon will get his comp package. Now, is this judge going to overturn it in the future? Who knows, potentially. But in this video, I want to talk about the comp package. I want to go over my $80,000 position in calls that I'm holding in Tesla. I did cover my June calls, and I'm still holding my July calls. And more importantly, I want to go over this video from Cathie Wood. She was on CNBC earlier talking about this $2,600 price target within the next 5 years, and it seems that she goes over autonomous taxi platform and what has to happen in order for that price level to be hit. And I've been saying this for a very long time, over the past 6 months, that I think Tesla is the single most undervalued AI play of our lifetime, even bigger than Nvidia. And so I think that in this video, it's gonna be great to go over her take. I haven't watched this, so you're gonna get my live reaction to it and my feedback and my thoughts on this. We're gonna cover Tesla price action because it has pulled back, during the day. I do think that we're probably gonna bounce off of here or $180, probably close the day around 190, but we'll get into that in a moment. So let's start with this video.
Elon Musk claiming victory on X, saying that shareholders have voted by a wide margin to pass two resolutions. At stake is Elon Musk's pay package and moving Tesla's legal home from Delaware to Texas. Voting is still open, we should mention. Final tally expected later today. Meanwhile, Tesla bull Cathie Wood.
So voting is still open, but the reason that the stock popped in the first place is that last night Elon tweeted the votes, and it seemed that the amount of votes that he had at that point already was more than enough to confirm the fact that this is going to happen.
Raising her price target on the company, ARK Invest 2029 projection for the stock is now $2,600 per share. And joining us right now,
that would be insane.
first on CNBC at the table is Cathie Wood, CEO and CIO of ARK Invest. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Andrew and Becky.
I very much want to talk about this price target, but I want to talk about this vote for just a moment.
Yes.
I know you supported his compensation
Absolutely.
package. Did you expect, and look, things can still change, but it seems like some of the big institutional shareholders broke for Musk late last night. That seems to be what's happened. Retail seemed to have broke for him earlier than that.
Yes, yes.
But were you expecting that? And what do you think, if in fact this is the verdict, if you will, or the vote, what do you expect is going to happen next? Because it doesn't seem like the game will be totally over, because this is, of course, probably going to go back to court.
Well, first of all, you broke that news about the institutions, and I was surprised, actually, and pleased. But I do think what has happened here, it really started with ESG and all of the drama around that, and it got these large index players to say, wait a minute, should we be voting all of these shares? We should be taking into account some of our clients' preferences. And so I think it's opened the topic up. It's healthy, I think, very healthy. So, yeah, but nonetheless, I was surprised.
Do you anticipate that this becomes another years-long drama, given that this will go to court? Do you imagine the judge is going to look at this vote, say that the process was fair? I mean, part of this whole situation is, she said, the original process was unfair.
And I think that that's obviously why we have not seen Tesla just push through 190 and run its way up to $200. The shareholder meeting is today, so there's going to be a lot of things that's discussed there. There's the chance that this could get overturned or at least contested by a judge, which probably will happen. And I think that that's just why we have not seen the strength come into Tesla just quite yet today.
We've had some lawyers come on our air and say, even if shareholders vote in favor of this, a judge could still strike it down.
I am not a lawyer, but I learned what was at stake, the lack of transparency about relationships with the board. Well, all of that has been completely exposed, and here we're having a vote, and I think it's more overwhelming than I would have expected.
So $2,600 a share.
Yes.
Help us do the math. How do you get there? What has to happen for all of that?
Get there?
This is a 5-year price target, as all of ours are. And what has to happen is an autonomous taxi platform, Tesla's autonomous taxi platform. So robo-taxis, which is a SaaS-like model. Instead of selling a car.
SaaS, which is SaaS, is an acronym for software as a service. And if you notice, like most companies and some of the biggest companies nowadays, They focus on that SaaS model. So you look at Netflix, that is software as a service. You pay a monthly fee, you never ever own it. And that is a very strong business model because monthly reoccurring revenue is, especially when you're getting a loan from, from a bank, or if you're valuing your business, that monthly reoccurring revenue is so important. So just to get you guys in like on an idea of this, so many people ask me, if you're so good at trading, you're so good at investing, why do you sell a service? Why do you teach people how to trade? Why do you sell your alerts? The reason for this is that that brings a SaaS aspect to myself. So every single month, I know from my community, and I'll just be honest with you guys, the top line revenue on that company is doing $22,000 a month right now. So whether I have a good trading month, a bad trading month, whatever it is, having an aspect of your business, which for me, trading is my business, having an aspect of that that is focused on software as a service is not only phenomenal for consistent income, but when you're going to get loans, specifically for me, that's what they're going to want to see. They don't care if I made $1 million this year trading. If I'm not holding those assets long term, they're not going to give me money towards it. And they're not going to count that as income from the bank standpoint because they understand how risky trading is. So the software as a service is obviously such a strong lever to pull. And this is why Tesla went from selling FSD. I paid $12,000 for it on my Cybertruck to now $99 a month.
Car and maybe the software package, and that's it. This becomes a recurring revenue model, a slice of every mile driven on that autonomous taxi network. Very high margin.
And on top of that, you think about it, on top of that, as a consumer, you're buying the car, you're driving the car, you're giving all of that data to Tesla, you're paying for the autonomous driving aspect, and once again, all of that data is getting sent to Tesla. So that is a win-win-win for Tesla.
Margins right now, auto gross margins are around 16%. Gross margins in the SaaS world are more like 80%.
How big a market does that have to become for Tesla to get?
And honestly, this is why when I look at Elon and what he's been doing over the past 10 years, I truly believe, and he's been talking about robo-taxis for so long, but this is why he has not cared so much about, obviously he's cared about margins on the vehicles. The margins on the vehicles at 16% is obviously way better than it was 5 years ago when they were not making money on the cars. So the fact that they've gotten their production down, they've gotten all of their systems and operations to a point where they're actually making money on the cars is just a cherry on top. But when you have 100 million vehicles on the road, like let's just run these numbers here. If we get to the point where there's 100 million vehicles on the road, like we're talking in the future, and even 50% of those people, that's 50 million vehicles at an average of $99 a month. That is $4.9 billion in revenue. Even if you cut that number in half, that's $2.5 billion in revenue each and every single month with, like she said, 70, 80, 90% margin. Because you don't need all of that labor, which is the most, encumbersome thing when it comes to running a company is labor and materials.
To get to the $2,600 price. The reason I ask is there are some cities that may allow this to take place. There may be geofenced areas where people are going to do this. And there's also obviously a larger view that one day these cars will be able to do everything by themselves everywhere in the country.
Yes. Well, this is the largest AI project on Earth, autonomous mobility broadly. And I think it's going to catch on as quickly as that. Now, of course, what we've had during the last 10 years is a movement toward FSD, and now we're seeing safety statistics. And I remember
full self-driving for those uninitiated.
Full self-driving. You look at the number of miles between accidents for the average car in the United States. It's about 200,000 miles. Right. You look at a Tesla without FSD, full self-driving, just autopilot. Right. It's more like 600,000 miles.
And this is one thing that I will say, like, I've been invested in this company for 7 years. I don't care about cars in that instance. Like, I've been driving a 99 Honda with my brother, and I had a Toyota. Those are the two cars that we just use every day. But since I've gotten this Cybertruck, and of course it's a Cybertruck, but I'm just talking about like the actual technology of owning a Tesla. Not only do I get it, but I understand the safety aspect here. And so it's like, I don't think that full self-driving to a robo-taxi level is here yet, to where no human is in the car at all. There's no intervention. I don't know how that's going to go from a lawmaking standpoint. I think that that is probably 2 years removed. But I'm telling you that just from using with me, just use, and I don't even have FSD on the truck yet, but just using even autopilot and advanced autopilot and watching what the cameras are picking up, it's, in my opinion, it's probably safer than most people driving. When I'm sitting at a red light and I'm looking around, everyone is on their phone and not paying attention.
Full self-driving and an older version, not even the latest, 6-9 months ago, 3.2 million miles. Tasha Keeney has done this work. You know, Volvo built a brand on safety, and I think Tesla's going to usurp.
Okay, but we're in the middle of 2024.
Yeah.
You're saying we get to 2029.
Yes.
And that's where that price is. I think what I'm asking is, for your base case, for this to work, and by the way, we should say that Elon Musk tweeted out, extremely challenging,
yes,
but achievable, on top of your tweet.
Yes.
And the side note, I think Elon has something to prove. And when Elon has something to prove,
does this all have to really go into effect?
Yes, we believe that they're setting up for robo-taxis, the network, within, I would say, 1.5 years, 2 years. Elon would...
I didn't even listen to this, but that is literally exactly what I would expect. I think that they're going to unveil this in August. They're going to show how it's going to work. I think that this is going to give Tesla drivers leverage. So a lot of people who are thinking to themselves, oh, I might buy a Model 3, I might buy an older one. Now you could actually use that car to potentially make you money. And I think that giving that 2 years where they can get this robo-taxi network out, perfect FSD, as far as an individual being in charge of it and an individual sitting there, I think that we could be about 2 years removed as well.
I would say maybe we'll start.
But that also requires regulators to sign off on all this.
Now, regulators have an issue, and that is the auto accident rate has gone, after decades of going down with auto safety measures.
Right. Sharply. We talked to Pete Buttigieg about this yesterday.
40 to 50%. Texting is a big part of it. You know, disproportionately young people. Right. So deaths in the U.S. have gone from the low 30s. I think they got into above 40,000. So I think if regulators understand, and they do, that 85% of all traffic accidents are caused by human error. If you take the human out, you're going to make the roads
safer.
Kathy,
we literally asked Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary, the Treasury of Transportation,
yes,
the Secretary of Transportation yesterday, Pete Buttigieg, about this, and he did sound like he was open to the idea as a result.
Yes.
And that's the first time I've really heard a public official who's kind of embraced it instead of saying, wait, we don't like the rise of the machine.
Absolutely. He is telegraphing that the roads ultimately are going to be much safer if you take the human being out of the...
And I agree with that entirely too. We're wrapping up. This is the last 5 seconds, but I totally agree with that sentiment as well. You know, I would have completely disagreed before owning a Tesla up to a week ago, even though I've been invested in this company for so long. But it's true. You know, I think the biggest hurdle that I'm going to have really is insurance. Because insurance, and I'm not one of those like tinfoil hat conspiracies. I definitely have a little bit of a tinfoil hat in my office here, but like some of the biggest companies in the world are insurance companies, specifically auto insurance companies. So if we get to a point where there is FSD, and it is, you know, obviously not everybody's going to adopt it. It's going to be Tesla owners only. But when we look long term, from an insurance standpoint, if there's way less deaths, if there's way less accidents, premiums will have to go down, and those insurance companies will get absolutely murdered. The other thing you have to think about is, what is your insurance going to be if you are using your car for robo-taxis? Because I'm sure it's not going to be the same as if you were just driving it yourself each and every single day. So I agree with Kathy Wood. I think that this company is so undervalued. I think that at the end of the day, that we are going to see FSD, we are going to see robo-taxi network. I do think it's going to take a couple of years, probably 2 years, to get to that point. And I think that Tesla is disgustingly undervalued at this point. Now, as far as my actual positions, I posted a video, like I said yesterday, going over my $80,000 worth of calls. I closed out my January position. My June position, and I'm still holding my July position. And I think that if we can push through 190, there is no way that Tesla can't hit 200. Once 200 is cleared, I think we'll easily see Tesla at 240 by middle to end of the summer. A lot of this and some key points that we have coming up is, obviously the comp package was today, shareholder meeting was today. We have earnings coming up on, the week of the 15th for July. So that's, about 2 weeks from now, we have earnings coming up. That's going to be very important. And then also we have the robo-taxi event, which I don't know. I think it's in first week of August. I think it's August 8th. So we have 3 catalysts that are sitting here lining up for Tesla to potentially move its way back up to 220 and $240. And if you guys want, definitely comment down below. One of my plans is to go over the Tesla ecosystem, talk about how I think that they're going to be able to scale this company to a massive degree. But I feel that a lot of people are missing how deep this ecosystem goes and how streamlined the entire ecosystem is in general. So I will do a video on that if you guys want. Also, before we go, check out all my free courses. The link are in the description. You guys can get access to every single course that we've made totally free. We give them all out because at the end of the day, I'm not going to do this forever, right? Like I'm not going to be the person who's selling courses and doing all this. Like I love trading. I love investing. I love making this content, but I'm not the type of person who's going to safeguard information and like be a guru, right? Like that's not my plan. So all of our courses are free. Link in the description. I'll be adding more each and every single month for the rest of this year. And I hope this video helped, guys. Thanks for all your support. I'll see you next time.